All right, I'm going to go ahead and call our meeting to order. This is our continuation meeting for Wednesday, July 24th. Could I have a roll call, please?
Shannon?
Present.
Leek?
Here.
Anthony?
Here.
Leek?
Here.
Edwards?
Here.
Cavazos? Here. Dex?
Here. Okay. Since this is a continuation meeting, and obviously we had a few other items that we put on this agenda, I will go ahead and open it up for citizens' time. I think that would be only appropriate before we go into our public hearing, if there's anybody that wanted to comment. And just for our listening audience as well, some of the items listed here will be on our next regular council meeting for discussion and for adoption.
So it's just sharing the information.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Bob
Placeholder.
Weir, Bob Weir, 6853 St. Paul Drive. I think it's interesting that you note that because I've got an action item here that nobody's seen before, and I'm kind of curious how it appeared on an agenda without an agenda amendment. This is the kind of thing that causes people concern, things popping up with no notice. And I don't see why, it being 2 weeks until the next meeting, why this couldn't wait and why it is so god-awful important that it has to happen immediately on an agenda that had already been developed. Same thing with the public hearing. It's just not the way things should be done. That's it.
Okay. All right, and thank you for your comments. Anyone else would like to speak? This time I'll close our citizens' time, and with no objection, we'll go ahead and open our public hearing. To see if anybody would like to speak on that behalf.
You want to address the
Oh,
typo?
yes, exactly. So just to let everyone know, too, there was a typo in this numbers that were presented that we will continue. We'll leave this public hearing open until our next scheduled meeting to have that new numbers presented to the council.
Yes, sir, that's correct. We'll have the new numbers on Monday. Apologize for that, but I just caught it. We just caught it today, so we want to continue that for Monday's meeting.
Right. So if anybody did want to comment that could not be here for the next scheduled meeting.
We don't have to re-advertise?
No.
No.
This is not one that requires re-advertising. You can continue to
Okay.
hold it up.
Thank you,
Yep.
Martin.
Bob Weir, still at 6853 St. Paul. So to clarify, there's not going to be an action on this item if you're holding the public hearing open till the next meeting.
That's correct, sir.
And just a quick comment on this. You just went through a budget process that lasted several months and dealt with all of the expenditures, the employees, how many you were going to have, your staffing, and now suddenly we're changing it and apparently adding one. Kind of makes the budget process a joke, guys. Doing it the first month of the fiscal year. There's really no transparency here. Thank you.
And thank you for your comments, sir. Our next item, of course, Chief Lands, I'd let you just at least explain this ordinance that you would like to propose. And
So prior to me getting here, the town has adopted on a traffic code almost all of the 46.2 ordinances when it comes to the criminal law, which basically states that anytime someone commits a moving traffic violation within the town, we can attach onto the code section a town's code section, which would mean the fines and revenues would come to the town for that instead of going to the state. We also have our own codes for trespassing and drunk in public, things that we can write our code section on, and then again, all the fines would come to the state. Come to the town. We have left out the DUI code section, and this just amends that. It would adopt, the town code would adopt the DUI section as well. So.
okay. Any questions regarding that? So what we're going to do is we're going to put this as an action item for our next scheduled meeting for adoption. Our next item are updates. Memorandum of Understanding for the PWC Building Maintenance Code. So we all recall at their last meeting, and maybe even a meeting before that, that we all had decided to go ahead and explore this and see what the process would be. We originally thought that it might have to have a resolution. We had both the Prince William County's town attorney speak to our town attorney and came up with a process to go forward. And it needed to first start out with initiation of a letter to the county asking them to do that, which I just signed today and sent over to them. So that will be a process that now that once they received it, they will bring it to the Board of County Supervisors and then draft an MOU for that, and to be able to have their process of, just because there's a lot of my understanding that it not only can be a civil thing, it also could be a criminal aspect as it as well. As a matter of fact, maybe I've missed something, but Martin, if you wanted to speak on that any further.
Yes, sir, thank you. The opportunity exists to have the county enforce the building code, but first there will need to be some text changes to your town ordinances so that we track the same provisions that the county has, so there's not any opportunity for somebody to argue that there's an inconsistency and they shouldn't be penalized for a violation of the property maintenance code. The property maintenance code in your code is several years out of date, and so the references need to be updated for that. And then there will need to be an understanding with regard to the process. Prince William County has a complaint-based enforcement, and that would be what they would be doing here, just like the same as they do in the unincorporated portions of the county. But and they may have other things that they want to put in the memorandum of understanding. They haven't told me yet. So that was the communications that I've had with the assistant county executive.
Is there any place that we can go and read? I mean, is it online, the Uniform Building Code, or is?
Yes.
Okay. Also, does this go through any of our boards, or is it just strictly from your office to the council? Does it have to go through Planning Commission, or?
Does not require
Okay.
going to the Planning Commission.
Okay.
If you want to get an advisory opinion from somebody, then that would be appropriate, but there's no requirement for it in the law.
Okay, thank you.
They did, I spoke to, I forgot the gentleman's name right offhand, but anyways, he mentioned that if we would like to have a meeting with the town, just to kind of go over what expectations the town would have, as well as the county, what services they actually provide too. And he asked, approximately how many buildings that we feel that might be in these conditions that are looked at, just staffing-wise. He mentioned that he would dedicate one person to handle the town of Haymarket for that. So all a process, all of, obviously a meeting, an MOU being drafted, being presented to the council and adopted, the ordinances to be changed or adopted as well. So just taking steps into that ultimate direction of having that uniformity.
Yes, sir.
So, questions regarding that? Okay. We also, I think we just as a placeholder put the VDOT Washington Street paving. I think we gave clear instructions, if we remember at our last meeting, of the project coming up for this year is the north-south Jefferson project. At our last meeting, we gave permission that we were going to go ahead and once the markings are done and the pavement's been replaced, that we would within 6 months do the imprints, which we need to do to give that stamped look. It is going to probably be a number that we're going to have to look at and figure out the funding for. We did get original proposals back when we were looking at doing just this item, just the town doing it. Of course, the good thing, or I think is a good thing, is the state is going to pay at least for the marking, so we wouldn't have to pay for restriping or marking these asphalts that they do restore. So it will only be the stamping aspect of it. I don't know, Steve, if you have any
That's
further.
correct.
Yeah.
It'll just be mill and pave, and they'll line the crosswalks, just as, which is our standard practice, so that's what they would do.
I guess I'd like to give an update. As we know, we had online advertised a business manager position that ended last Friday. There's 8 applications that had come in. I'd like to see maybe forming maybe a committee or to review and maybe set up for interviews for these applicants, and wanted to see who would be interested in serving in that committee, and then hopefully formulating that. We did have the deadline as Friday. I did send these directly to Jerry to rate. He did take the time, go through the applications, and kind of did a rating system. I think he was very knowledgeable of doing exactly those type of things, so he's come up with a formula for that. So that would be part of the committee to evaluate that and to look at these ones. So I'll go around the dice to see who would be interested in serving on this ad hoc. Okay? All right. I think,
How many are you looking at to serve on the committee?
I don't know.
I remember, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could be able to do it in one meeting. You have,
I'll be more than happy to help out.
I think the goal should be all of council to be there. If the entire council cannot be there, then obviously, that being said, but I think it should be the entire council be there if schedules permit, to allow to give input and have a chance to interview through the process.
okay. Well, I definitely, yeah, I mean, my thought was the committee to kind of weed it down to a number of who we would like to interview, but, we actually could tag this on and as an executive session, I would think, maybe at our next meeting, which is only a few weeks away.
To review applications?
Maybe possibly we send them out to everybody to review and then come to the executive session too. Because you can go into executive to go over the specific applicants.
That's right. You can go into closed session to discuss applications for employment.
Right.
And then we would just see who we wanted to interview out of the applicants, or?
Correct.
And we
Okay.
can get those, like now, the resumes now.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Give us time to look, so when we go into executive session, we can have our 1, 2, 3, have what we.
Yep. Yeah,
Super idea.
I
Yep.
just got the thing back from Jerry, if it wasn't today or yesterday. So yeah.
Jerry's going to
Because-
give his input.
He just did like a scoring sheet.
Okay.
He basically what we advertised, that was all online, and just did they meet the qualifications? I mean, it's just a basic, he might put the education or whatever, or if there was something that he felt that, was deficient.
We had a matrix that we used previously in previous.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, the answer would be
Right,
yes.
Connor?
I recall for the police chief.
Yeah.
I don't recall for town manager
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
treasurer.
of course, the police chief, it's kind of a different thing, but
Well, I
yeah,
think
the same kind of.
Yeah, if Mr. Shiro comes up with it, personally, I have full confidence in Jerry Shiro that,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would even say out to the limit to where if Jerry's done it, I would trust Jerry's top 3 and bring those in for interviews. But if council feels that we want to look through all the applications, then
I think we should look at all of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
No, I think
Well, there again, I'll forward exactly what he sent to me, that has the information and his ratings as he saw them. There are some ones that have comments, then you'll understand it as you go through them, that it's very self-explanatory, and it's very nice and clean and neat. And then if there's anything additional that we'd like to add to those columns, or things that we should want to consider, maybe we'll look at that when we go into exec. But that'll prevent a committee, that'll prevent another meeting, and very applicable for executive session. So, great. So you all can look for that forthcoming. Next is, I asked the clerk to just add the House Bill 4042, just to give some background on that. I got a call from Delegate Rome. It was probably like, I want to say like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And she had mentioned that she was going in and needed some background on one of our residents and business owners, and if I had this information. And I said, well, yeah. So when we spoke about it was Josie, I mentioned to her about being the grand marshal, and I said, let me get that. I think that we did a document and had a lot of detailed information that would help. She asked if there was anybody else that knew more specifically. The person I could think of during that time was a former employee. I gave her that information or contact information to reach out to that might have some other background of things that have happened prior to me being on council. Forwarded some photographs that we had as well. I found some old emails and stuff like that that I sent over to her. So she was able to, throughout the night, formulate this resolution and get it on their desk at 8 in the morning, and which it did pass. She sent me a text, I think like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock that morning, that it was passed. So I thought it was only appropriate to put it in our packet as well, just to kind of show, working together with the delegate that, good things happen, and obviously for a good cause and a good person of our town as well. We've, as we know, we've recognized her as being our grand marshal in the past, and just her contributions to the town. So with that was all. I just put it as an FYI. It wasn't
What
meant
is the
to.
resolution?
The resolution is 4042.
No, I know, but what
Recognizing-
was it?
It was recognizing,
Her as, with what, I looked it up today because I wasn't sure either, but I pulled it up, and it's basically recognizing her for being a good resident and business owner of the town of Haymarket and what she's done. I was very impressed, and when I see Delegate Rome, I'm going to thank her for putting that in, because, I've heard the other nice things. I know she was a grand marshal and everything, but I didn't know what it was either till I looked it up there, but I think it's excellent. I'm real happy about it.
Thanks, Steve.
and I'm sorry, Shelley, we miscommunicated. I thought it was part of the packet.
No,
or-
it's not.
Yeah.
It's just on the,
It's not in the packet?
it's
Yeah,
not
no,
in
it's
it.
not in there.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it should have been attached to the packet, yep.
Yeah.
But no worries. There again, it was more of an FYI thing. Let me also give an update on our building as we are going down this path. So today, we actually have a signed agreement to do the wrapping, the roof work. It's been a process. As you've seen, we were very aggressive and got the painting done right away due to availability. We've continued to work with the HVAC and the electrical issues behind us on the back of the building. We got some good news for Dominion Power that they're going to straighten up the pole in the back here, but and better, the fact that we can bury the power instead of it coming up and through our roof, that they're actually going to come out and bury it and bring it up into the box with a very small cost. With our electrician and Dominion's work, we're able to stick that in there and still be within our budget. They continue to fix the HVAC, where they've decommissioned some old lines that went to nowhere, redoing the wrapping of all the lines, the refrigerant lines that are just long overdue. So the whole back of the building, when it's all said and done, will at least look, appearance-wise the way it should. So they're looking at probably about a 2-week turnaround time ish. The first thing we'll see is our shutters go up. At least that'll help with the look in the front. And then working with the not residents, but our people upstairs, our tenants, to be able to do the work during business hours, and whether or not people are going to have to park on one side or another, and as they do the roof work. And I think there were some samples that were just dropped off for the roof. It does not change the spec of what we showed the ARB. We're still looking at the metal ridge line. It went from a 26 gauge to a 24 gauge. It's a more thicker metal. The hope is that you don't get any wavering look, as you might see maybe on the one museum building. If the light hits it certain ways, the idea, the shorter the roof sections, versus like a 22 section to an 18-inch section, you reduce that wavy look that you'll see on some of the metal roofs throughout. So, I guess, all in all, as this week, next week, and the following weeks happen, you'll definitely see this transformation of something that we're hopefully be really proud of. Questions for that? None? Okay. Any other items that the council wants to speak of?
Not for me.
Okay. There again, just for clarification, and Shelley, our public hearing will be, is still open, so we'll continue that openness for our next town council meeting. And I think that's about it then. No other comments? There you go.
Second the motion.
Second by Councilman Leek. All in favor, say.
Aye.
All right, anyone opposed? It's okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
It's a good meeting.